Hello everyone, this is Jag. Well, in this video I'm going to cover how to deter birds from eating your fruits and berries. Well, if you want to meet somebody who has gone through a lot of pain deterring birds from eating their fruit, look no further. I'm right here. We grow a bunch of varieties of fruit. We grow cherries, peaches, nectarines. We grow berries like blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, stayberries, loganberries. And guess what? You have to battle the weather, the frost. You have to water them correctly. You have to go through all the struggles. And when the plants actually produce fruit and berries, guess what? Birds get them first. Well, there are many different types of birds that are attracted to fruit and berries, and I employ quite a few different techniques to actually deter them from eating our fruits and berries. Now, the very first thing is using decoys or scarecrows like this owl decoy, hawk decoy. They have decoys that have wings that flap in the wind.
You can also use snake decoys and hang them on your trees to scare the birds away too.
However, how effective they really are, well, they work for about 3 to 5 days. Afterwards, birds just get used to them. You have to change their location every 2 to 3 days for them to stay effective for certain type of birds. So they're about 20 to 30% effective if you ask me. Well, one of the biggest weapons I have against birds is Lily. She's an English Shepherd dog and she chases the birds like there's no tomorrow. Let me show you. Come on, Lily, let's go. Go. But look at her go. She loves to chase the birds and she follows really good commands. So she makes a really good ally in chasing the birds away. Now there's another technique I use to deter the birds as well, and that's using the flashing tape. Now flashing tape is actually a little bit more effective than deterring the birds than using owl decoys or hawk decoys. So I would say flashing tape works for at least about a week or 2 weeks before the birds get used to them. Now you have to get iridescent flashing tape. This kind of flashing tape scatters a lot more light, so it's more effective than just plain flashing tape. Now you can get a roll like this one. Now you can see how effective it is at scattering the light. Now, to be effective, I would say tie it to the trellis or the strings you're using to support your berry plants, or tie it directly to the branches of the trees. Have at least a foot of tape dangling from the knot. That way it can flap around in the wind. Also, tie it high up, at least 5 to 6 feet off the ground for it to be effective. The birds were eating my ripe and delicious grapes, so I put this iridescent tape right on top of the trellis. Another technique you can use is just use old CDs. Just hang the CDs off your trees or your plants, and that will help to scare the birds away as well. And the amount of grapes I was losing to birds significantly decreased. Now another device you can use to deter birds is sound alarms. Now these alarms mimic the sound of predatory birds such as hawks, owls, and other predatory birds as well. So they are effective to somewhat. However, you have to know your city ordinances. Now all of these devices are perfectly legal to use in agriculture areas on all agricultural zones. However, if you live in an urban area or if you live in a housing development, you must check with your city officials to know if these devices are permitted to use in your area. The best way to refrain birds from eating your fruit and berries is to use netting. Now netting is very effective. It's 90 to 95% effective because there could be holes or they could go underneath the netting. So it's not 100% effective, but it's almost there. So if you use netting, you can protect your fruit and berries very effectively. However, netting is one of the most expensive options you can have to protect your fruit and berries. But if you have a lot of fruit on your fruit trees, especially cherry trees, you have lots of cherries on your cherry trees, or you have lots of raspberries and blackberries, netting could be really worthwhile. Now, netting can be very hard to put on your trees, and for that, you can use a product like this one, which is EAGLELAND tree netting, which has an entire canopy structure with netting in place to put right on your fruit trees. It takes a little bit of time, however, it's very easy to construct the entire structure, configure the netting with the structure, and then just lift the structure and put it in place right next to your tree. This way, birds will not be able to get to the fruit and you can have all the fruit to yourself. I have this EAGLELAND netting on my cherry tree and it's doing a really good job even in high winds. If you're interested in this EAGLELAND netting, I'll leave a link to this product in the description of this video. Now, I noticed one more thing. Once I built a pond, there were lots of birds that were scooping in, drinking from the pond and flying away. and I was not losing so many peaches and nectarine to the birds. So I did some research, and the school of thought is if you provide water to the birds won't eat too many of your fruit or berries, because when it's really hot, they're eating the fruit and berries to extract the water out of them. Because they're thirsty, and if there's no other source of water around, they're going to go for your fruit and berries. I don't know how widely accepted this school of thought is, but from my own personal experience, after I built that pond and there was water in that pond all the time, all throughout the summer, the amount of fruit I was losing to birds decreased a lot. And I could see the birds actually going to the pond and drinking the water there, and they would not go to my peaches and nectarines. Now, another way to refrain birds from eating your fruit and berries is to actually give them food. So if you have a bird feeder, you can put it out in your yard or away from where you have your fruits and berries. And if you use all of these different techniques, using all decoys, hawk decoys, flashing tape, CDs on your fruits and berry section, it'll be easier for the birds to eat the grains from the bird feeder than to face all of these different challenges to eat the fruit and berries. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in another video.